You are now listening to the Jca Sports Podcast.
DeMar DeRozan delivers! Trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown! Turnover here. Kane's a Kane. 2-on-1. Hustling back his point up a shot. Good! Patrick Kane in overtime! Pitch is hit in the air. Deep to right. That ball is gone! White Sox win! The Field of Dreams! This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs, winning the World Series! Bryant makes the play! It's over! And the Cubs have finally won it all!
This is the Jca Sports Podcast.
Yes! What's up, everybody? The Jca Sports Podcast is back here on Facebook Live. Alongside Eric Avila, Jonathan Palayo will be joining us very, very soon. And we thank you all for joining us one more time here with us here on Facebook Live, on Twitch, on Twitter, and on YouTube as we broadcast all across those platforms, Eric, and as well. And of course, thank you for our sponsors, Anchor. Without Anchor, we're unable to even broadcast our podcast and put it out there on platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that. So thank you all for listening. Welcome, Eric. How are you doing today?
Oh, just another day, another dollar. Like one of my students say, just another dookie in a different toilet. But I can't say though. You know.
That's a good one. I think I'm gonna start using that. No, just another dookie in a different toilet. Well, speaking of dookie, Eric, we just saw the Bulls play right now, and it's not good, man. It's not looking so good. It's not looking. Another loss. This time, another loss to the Sixers. Another loss to Embiid. Fifth straight loss. It's not looking well. The Bulls, after starting really, really hot in the beginning of the season, going into the middle of the season, we started to see a whole bunch of injuries. This team is plagued by a lot of injuries, man. But no excuses. You still have enough to play. You still have your best player, DeMar DeRozan, having an MVP-like season. You still have Zach LaVine, who took another step. You still have Vooch, although he wasn't playing today, but you still have Vooch, who's been a multiple all-star. And you have pieces. You have Ayo Dosunmu, you have Kobe White, Javonte Green, Derrick Jones Jr., you name it. We have pieces here in the Chicago Bulls that can still win you games. They're still without Lonzo. They're still without Caruso. They're still without Patrick Williams. And today, like I said, they were without Nikola Vucevic. But Joel Embiid is undefeated against the Bulls his entire career. And it was no different today. Dude went off for almost 50 points. He had a double-double, monster game from Joel Embiid. The 76ers look good, man. I don't know if they just look this good. They're still in the honeymoon phase with James Harden being added to the team. But they look good. They look like a scary team, a juggernaut in the East, and the Bulls are just on the decline, man. They're unable to defeat these upper echelon teams in the East, Eric. Yeah. And they're just dropping down the standings. They're only they think now getting like a game ahead of the Celtics to keep that fourth spot. They dropped from 2 to 4, and the three teams above them right now are Milwaukee, Miami, Philadelphia, who they just lost to today. And if this continues, man, this trend is not looking well. This team right now is looking like a first round exit. What do you think?
Definitely. Like you said, I think you just hit a point where I kind of was leaning towards too, that you can't make any more excuses. I mean, if the coach isn't, why should we, right? And although injuries does play a part of the game, and that's the unfortunate part about it, that injuries do happen. The one thing that we got to understand is that these players still have to play the game, even though they're playing in expanded roles. You just can't make excuses anymore. It's really one of those situations to where it's it's like, all right, guys, we get it. You guys had a hot run, but now I think we're finally seeing that, the players in the roles that they are playing right now and have been playing for a long time have finally started going on decline, on demise, because it's a bigger role than what they, normally expect. Again, granted, they do have key injuries to some key positions. Pat Will on the power forward, Caruso at the 2 and the 3, and also Lonzo at the 1 and the 2. But
And these are starters, by the way.
Who are starters, by the way. But I was just thinking too, literally a little bit, and I was saying this too as well at the at work with a couple of my colleagues. Alonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, and a Patrick Williams coming back wouldn't win you an NBA title. Patrick Williams, Alonzo Ball, and Alex Caruso probably won't even get you past the Eastern Conference semis. This Bulls team as a whole, now I know we've been overhyping them a lot, and rightfully so, right? Because they've been playing really good and great basketball as of late. I honestly do believe we kind of finally see this Bulls team who they really are, minus 3 players, and I still think that the players that are coming back, it's still not enough to still compete with the Brooklyns, with the 76ers, even with the Boston Celtics coming as hot as they are. We've seen them play against the Miami Heat. They could probably go toe-to-toe with the Atlanta Hawks, but I will still put the Celtics, the Heat, the Sixers, and the Nets above the Bulls right now.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. They're the better teams. They've proven it against the Bulls the entire season. I get what you're saying. Those 3 guys who are out coming back doesn't make this team a championship team, but it does make this team a complete team and a scary team. This team with those guys are way better than what they are now.
Right.
And with talented players like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, someone like Lonzo Ball or Alex Caruso, who's going to help on the defensive end and then also help you get your shot. Those are playmakers. Those are guys who are going to distribute the ball, have the ball in their hand, and know where the player is. Those guys are only going to help, which is why I think a lot of people are excited and a lot of people are also, I guess, anxious to have them back. You know what I mean? With that being said, Eric, am I overhyping this team? Are we? I don't know about you because I know you're more of a realist, at least now. But before, when we first started and they were on this hot streak, and we were here like, oh man, championship. We were on the bus, we were on the train. I was moving the lights in the room. We were doing all that, right? Did I overhype them? Did we overhype them?
I want to say so, and I try to tell you guys, come back to earth a little bit, because I get it. I understand too. As much as I wanted to join that hype train with you guys and the Bulls bandwagon, honestly, I honestly do believe that I told you guys we have to learn how to walk before we had to learn how to run. And we should definitely understand that the fact that this is the first time that the Chicago Bulls have been good in a very long time. I always said, let's just be relevant. Hey, look at the size. Hey.
Right.
No, but like I said, I told you guys, you know what, let's just be good this first year. And I understand that. And I understand that we wanted to get hype and we want to be excited and championship and everything like that. But I told you guys, we don't know winning basketball. We haven't known winning basketball in a very long time. So for you guys, for you probably did overhype it just a lot of bit, right? I think John too. John joined you on that bandwagon too as well. I was hesitant at first, and as much as the season kept going and the Bulls were doing the Bulls thing and being the number 1 team in the East and all this stuff. Now with all these injuries, I kind of finally see it that even with these players coming back, that are gonna come back, it's still not enough for the Bulls to make it as far as I originally thought. But my original thought was a 500 record, a winning 500 record, and at least a first round playoff appearance. At least my goals and expectations are still intact.
Absolutely. You're listening to the Jca Sports podcast, brought to you by Anchor, and we're broadcasting on all platforms: Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. We're bringing in our 1/3, our extra man, our 6th man of the year, Johnny Blasphemy, aka Johnny Palayo, aka Mr. Steel Girl, aka Zaddy. What up, man? How you doing?
Chill. I ain't sending nobody's girl, fam. We don't
Right,
need
right,
that
right.
name. We don't need that name.
Nah, John, me and Eric were just talking about the Chicago Bulls and another loss, a fifth straight loss, another loss against the 76ers and against Embiid, who's undefeated against us. We have never defeated
Man,
an Embiid-led
that
team.
boy
that
balls
guy-
out against us.
He's a monster. He's a monster. And I asked Eric, did we overhype him? Do you think the Bulls were overhyped thus far in the beginning of the season, or you think it's just the injuries that are plaguing him right now?
You're saying that we overhyped the Bulls?
Yeah.
I think we definitely fed into the hype train, but for good reason. I wouldn't say overhype. Eric just likes to be the negative Nancy of anybody but his own teams. So I don't really I don't count him as like, oh, he's excluded from this overhype because he's never a Bulls fan. That's the way I see it. Because according to him, just making the playoffs is a win for him. Which is unacceptable, honestly. You make all the moves you made, you better damn near make it to the conference finals at least. But
you're talking about the moves they made in this offseason?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they made it. I don't think when
they
this
made moves like for the
they made moves, but when it was first constructed, I don't think we all was like, hey, they're going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. It wasn't until DeMar DeRozan showed his MVP like form, and then the team started, together cohesively, be like, oh crap, this team's legit. Until we started giving it them expectations.
But we at least expected to go past the first round.
Oh. Right away. I don't know. Not right away. Not like in the offseason. Not in the offseason when this team was first constructed. I think we were all agreeing that they were going to make the playoffs.
When you get Lonzo Ball, you get DeRozan. You're not expecting to get out the first round. Are you serious?
No.
And Alex Caruso.
Again, when it was first constructed, I think Eric and I were on the same train. We were like, let's get to the playoffs. And I think that's what it was. It was after they started playing and you started seeing them play.
Say you're capping, bro. No,
wait. No, Eric, tell him. Eric, tell him.
Look, Jose and I, the one that I actually do defend Jose in this is one time I actually do defend him. That in the beginning, when we seen the moves that they made with the Caruso, with Ball, with getting DeMar DeRozan, we questioned the DeMar DeRozan pickup, just like everybody in the sports world did, whether if this was a right fit or not. I think all we wanted was relevancy, the Bulls to be at 500 and to make a playoff appearance. If they make a first round exit, cool.
No,
that's still a step up. That's still a step up.
To make the playoffs.
No.
That's why you should be content that they made the playoffs. You should expect to make the playoffs.
Yes. That was our ceiling at that time.
Right, that was our ceiling.
No, it's not the ceiling. It's an expectation. Like you literally, that's the minimum. It's not a ceiling.
Well,
okay.
That was the minimum. Look, I personally look.
You have to make the playoffs.
In the East, I thought they had a legit shot of making the playoffs.
That was our floor and our ceiling, if that makes sense. That was floor and our ceiling.
No, okay.
The floor was
the Bulls could have signed one of those guys. Let's just say they went and got Ball only. You still expect Ball, Levine, and Vooch. You got to make the playoffs at least.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That was our floor and our ceiling. No, wait, no, Eric, Eric, you and I did both say they will make the playoffs, but we didn't expect them to go past the first round. We were like, they'll make the playoffs. That was it, right? So that was our floor and our ceiling. It was after the season started and we started to see this play. Is when I flipped it. I was like, no, this team is legit. This team can draw.
No,
that's starting to change a little bit.
Which is why seeing what we've seen, I don't think we've overhyped this team because again, they're not healthy. Now I worry that like even when fully healthy, they haven't played together enough to be ready for the big teams. It's
not even that's kind
of scary. But at the same time, though, it kind of makes me mad. Like, you mean to tell me DeRozan and even let's just say a healthy DeRozan and a healthy DeRozan and a healthy Levine aren't enough to at least make some noise in the playoffs? Like, that's really frustrating. Like, you shouldn't need all these other guys. You shouldn't need Vooch, Ball, Caruso, Pat Williams. Like, those two together, just those two should be enough to make it in the first round and make noise.
So me and Eric were just saying
a healthy Vooch. Come on now.
So me and Eric were just saying it. me and Eric were just saying before you hopped on that I think getting like a full healthy team back isn't guarantee you the championship. I think we're looking at this team now like, you know what, maybe they're not ready to win a championship, even if fully healthy.
We're never going to win a championship.
However, I do say fully healthy. They can make noise and scare some teams and even play, at least get past the first round.
I disagree, man. I really think this team just really needs to play together, like more fully healthy together, in order to make noise.
Like I said before you hopped on, John, Alonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, and a Patrick Williams all coming back. Those are players that are not gonna win you a championship. To make noise in the playoffs, maybe, possibly, for sure. But I would put the Nets, the 76ers, the Boston Celtics, and the Miami Heat over the Chicago Bulls at a healthy squad. Because with the healthy Bulls squad, simply because they have those type of players.
You literally sound like me. I was saying this. I was saying there would be 5th seed best, 6th seed best.
Right.
You guys are penciling in at number 3, but we've seen what they can do healthy together. Now it's different. You can't tell me, look, we don't need a superstar caliber like Durant or Embiid, because I'm not putting DeRozan there yet. This year he's been MVP form, but he's not superstar level. We don't have a superstar on this team. But if you give me, I'd say technically 3 All-Stars, 3.5 All-Stars, when healthy, you can take down a team that only has 2 beasts. You just had to play together as in a 7-game series. You can do that.
I mean, we're asking the questions of the Bulls overhyped, and in the comments, Joshua Vasquez on Facebook Live types in overhyped ? Not really. I think that if the Bulls can all be healthy, they can go a little far in the playoffs, but not making it to the finals. See, I think fully healthy. I said the same thing. They can make it past the first round, but it depends on who they play. If they drop to 5th and Brooklyn goes back up to 4th, or let's say they drop to 6th, and then they're facing the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round, they're not making it past the first round.
We can't face the Nets, we can't face the 76ers, and we realistically can't face
Miami.
That's
what I'm saying. So
face Boston.
Right. So
Boston's on a little streak.
But no. I think Boston. I think we can play Boston well. But what's scary? What's scary is that we're dropping. We're also not going to beat the Bucks. So if we drop to that 6,
Bucks,
right? So if we drop to the 6, 7, or 8, we're screwed. We have to either stay in the 4th or 5th and hope that's Boston that we're facing in the first round, or we're not going to make it, guys. I don't know what else. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's
nah, man. I think you know what? No, this is good for the Bulls. The Bulls need a losing streak before the playoffs. They need to fall off. That way they can come in and play harder. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna still make noise. Everybody's gonna come back healthy. Like I told you guys, we can't be too hot. Riding the whole year. We gotta fall.
Yeah,
that's what's going on right now.
You're right. We got to fall, and we got to obviously no team's going to go into the season fully healthy. Now, at least not all year. We know that, or at least not into the playoffs. I mean, but
all I got to say,
we're stumbling right now, guys. We're stumbling into the playoffs right now.
My expectations have been met. They're going to be over 500. They're going to make it to the playoffs.
Bro, that's sad. Your expectations shouldn't be like you're getting off too easy. I feel.
No, not really, because when you have
a team that you predicted would have 4 All-Stars and a Coach of the Year only make the playoffs is sufficient enough for you?
Hey, compared to what we had in the last 5-6 years, this is a step up for sure.
That's not acceptable.
That's a step up for sure.
When you predict 4 All-Stars, you shouldn't barely make the playoffs. You shouldn't be satisfied with over 500.
Hey, look, I'm satisfied because the Bulls were crap the last 5 years. They exceeded my expectations. I think that's fine where they're at. If they make out of the first round, that's exceeding my expectations. They over exceeded, but after that, I don't see.
I get where Eric's coming from, right?
No,
going back to the Cubs, right? Going back to the Cubs in 2015. Not a lot of people expected them to go that far, at least make that kind of noise.
Yeah, me neither.
But that was different, right? They didn't really start off hot. They got hot throughout the season, and they made that noise in the postseason. The Bulls are kind of going the opposite direction here, where they started off hot and now they're stumbling and they're falling, and the playoffs are right around the corner and they're not healthy. The good thing is that you have guys slated to come back, so you are going to be fully healthy into the playoffs. But as John alluded earlier, they're not going to have enough time together to mesh, to have that chemistry, and to get, and for those guys to have those, I guess, to get the rust off. And that's what's a little bit concerning.
You know what? I think like 10.
But
I think
they're
they
veterans,
should be
though.
playing 10 games. I think playing 10 games should be more than enough. I mean, the one person that you kind of have to worry about a little bit if he does come back is Pat Will, because he's been gone since the beginning of the season. Yep. You got Alonzo Ball got some time. Alex Caruso got some time. So those two I'm not really worried about. Yes, the rust factor is a big thing. But I think if you play probably like 5-6 games for sure for Alonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, Pat Will, you probably have to give him the last slate as much as you can. Or just bringing him slowly, even if you do make him to the playoffs, make him come out of the bench until he's proven that he can actually have his role back as a starter, and then putting him out there and then just switch the roles. Look, they're coming back, I guess you could say, at the right time, right before playoffs, and definitely for sure to help out with this losing streak that they got. Being 3-4, and you know what? Even if they're fourth, where are they now? Fourth, fifth now in the
they're
East.
Fourth.
They're fourth in the East. Given how the East really is, as a roller coaster ride, probably a little hot winning streak towards the end of the season with a healthy squad can change the aspect of this team on where they're gonna face, whether if it's third, second, fourth, if they stay fourth, but playing good basketball in the same position, it might change, but at the same time, I still see Alonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, and Patrick Williams would not guarantee you a spot in the Eastern Conference Finals at all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the one thing they got going for them is that the East is so close that even if they were to fall down to 5th, 6th, or 7th, they won't be that far behind the other teams because they're all literally like I think it's 6 games the most within each other, and it's pretty close, man. But that's why I'm saying like these games are important right now. They can't be stumbling the way they are because they're going to find themselves in the play-ins, and then when you're there, it's not guaranteed.
You know what? I told you guys last episode or the second to last episode that I think it's a good thing that the Bulls, if they do fall into that play-in spot, I think it's a good thing that they fall in that spot because that gives more games to the Carusos, to the Balls, and to Pat Will for them to get their legs back. And again, I honestly think it's not that bad of an option either.
Stop, man, stop. I never want my team to make it fall down all the way to the play-in. Absolutely.
Yeah, not. Right. It's not ideal. It's not ideal, right? It's not ideal.
Given the Bulls' current situation where they're at with injuries, and you want them to have more games, shouldn't the play-in game be?
I would rather take the for sure playoff berth than the play-in game, just so my guys can get more practice together. Now they can do that shit in practice.
No, you're right. This is
but there's no real practice than game time practice, homie. There's no real speed until game time speed, homie.
If you got stars like Levine and DeRozan on the other side of practice, you gonna practice.
Like I said, there's no speed like game time speed, man. That's a whole different. That's a whole different animal.
If we lose, what happens if we lose in the playing game? Then we look stupid as fuck.
You know what happens? You know what happens? We all get disappointed. And speaking of disappointment, guys, let's get into the next topic with Coach K. And I know you guys are probably wondering, disappointment, Coach K, what is he talking about? That's the greatest coach, one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. Well, let me tell you guys. The other day, on Saturday, Coach K had his last game at Duke, and they faced North Carolina, right? The rivalry game, and they lost.
To their rivals.
They lost to their rivals, and the rivals didn't even pay tribute to Coach K. Instead, their tribute was here's an ass whooping, here's an L for your last game here at home. I don't know about you guys, but I was disappointed for Coach K. After the loss and right before the little ceremony that they had for Coach K, he went out and said it was unacceptable, that he was disappointed. Don't blame him whatsoever. I want to get you guys thoughts. Right, man, Nagy would never. I want to get you guys' thoughts first and foremost on like how embarrassing was it, if embarrassing at all, that they lost his last game at home, and B, what does Coach K mean to you guys? Eric, we'll start with you.
All right.
Sorry, you're done.
I
just get it.
No, it's all good. To me, I mean, the pressure was always going to be there for not only just Coach K but those students as well, knowing that it was going to be his last game at Cameron, and definitely against North Carolina, right? So the pressure was already going to be there. knowing that they were gonna have close to like almost 100 alumni from players that play for Coach K, that play in the NBA. There are some are Hall of Famers, some are NBA champions, all that good stuff. Not everybody could have been there because of the NBA schedule, but the players that were there, they made noise in college and definitely some in the NBA. It was just one of those situations to where like you could kind of tell, and we were watching the game together, us three. You could kind of tell towards like the last, 10 minutes, like arms got a little heavy, shots came up a little bit short, layups came a little bit harder, like, and you could tell like the pressure really, really got to them. As for Coach K, to be honest, I think you kind of put him there as one of the greatest coaches of all time. He even though he didn't coach NBA at the NBA level, I mean, he did coach NBA players and also won gold with NBA players. A lot of people just, think that, the transition from the NBA and college is obviously different, right? But I think Coach K, what he did and what he proved that he can coach NBA players. Now, granted, they were like the cream of the crop, the top players, top 15 players and stuff like that. But to bring those egotistical players, highest egos that you can be, the LeBron James, the Kobe Bryants, the Tim Duncans, who else
I
am I
appreciate
missing?
you saying LeBron before Kobe. Put some respect on the GOAT.
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony.
Who else am I missing?
Carmelo Anthony.
I know I'm missing on other key players.
Everybody, you're missing Carmelo, CP3,
Carmelo,
Rose,
I said Carmelo.
Howard,
Chris Paul,
Anthony
Derrick Rose for a
Davis
bit
before he
too
even
as
played a
well.
professional game.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
like those type of players, like he brought them all together, unified them together, and won Olympic gold when the United States basketball at the Olympics were kind of on a downfall. So to me, Coach K over any NBA coach, and obviously the greatest college coach of all time.
Yeah.
That's a little cap, I would say.
Ooh,
What are your thoughts, John? How
as
embarrassing was it
as
for
I
them?
had to explain to you on Saturday night, Jose, because we were all hanging out together. Eric knew this already, but I was a Duke fan prior to the game. I've been a Duke fan for years. Man, to me, where I call cap for Eric is I wouldn't put him greatest coach over NBA coaches, but he's definitely, I think, the greatest college coach in all sports: football, baseball, hockey, basketball, you name it. It's Coach K. Like literally, he's a dog, man. Like I think like what Eric touched on it. Like he had all these players and they won gold. With him as the coaching all these guys. But I think it just shows like you have all these NBA superstars playing, representing Team USA, and you don't pick a coach from the NBA. You pick a collegiate coach, and I think that speaks to the perspective Coach K. Which leads me to your second part of the question is, man, they disrespected that man on his last home game. What I tell you, man, they should have been running laps while he was giving his speech. I don't give a fuck. You could tell, man, that whole bench had their head down as they should. Like
The entire time.
At this point, the only way they can redeem themselves is if they win the whole thing in March Madness. That's it. That's the only way I see them redeeming themselves, because Coach K's last game was ruined. You guys had one job, man. And that you lost to your rivals, because you already know when they made the schedule, it was easy. Coach K's last game, let's make him face North Carolina. That's easy. But oh my god, yeah, you literally had one job, and like I said, Eric touched on that. I would say like the last 4 minutes of the game, we felt like this is it. They're gonna lose. They blew it. Like they blew it. They're gonna lose, and they just never caught back up. But definitely, mad respect to Coach K. Not just as a Duke fan, but just as a fan of Coach K, I really hope that Duke can win it all for him. He deserves it. He deserves to go out on top.
Yeah,
he does. That he does. That I'll give him for sure. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time, at least in basketball. Definitely going to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. As Eric alluded to, he was, he won gold with USA. As John alluded to, he won multiple national titles in Duke. Had multiple all-star players that played for him. A lot of them, 98 of them, were there in attendance. But that's what makes it so, I guess,
I
tough.
bet you they all would have won.
Hell yeah, I guarantee you that. I guarantee those juices were flowing. You know what I mean? And that's what makes it so hard to see that, dude. Like this was a one game that you needed to win for that coach, for your coach,
One
one
game.
of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. That was one game at home against a rival who was unranked. It's not like if they faced a quality team in North Carolina. I'm not saying that they're not quality, but you're the fourth ranked team in the entire country.
Exactly. North Carolina's fallen off hard these last few years.
Exactly.
And it's like, bro, y'all lost to them. Come on.
They came to your house. They didn't pay tribute to your coach, one of the greatest coaches of all time, and they disrespected you, beat you, and then stormed the court after. If it wasn't for that ceremony, they probably would have still been there partying it up. And
absolutely.
And Coach K had to go out there before the ceremony where they were gonna honor him to apologize to the fans. And to say
that just shows the type of coach he is.
Oh no, absolutely.
He cares for them, you know?
Right, but we know what kind of coach he is. But
we know.
I'm talking about the players. Not a smile on their faces. They're like, as you said, John, their heads were just down. Like they know they just.
You know what? If I'm them, and we don't win it all, I'm transferring out of Duke next year. I can't wear another Duke uniform ever again.
Oh, a lot of them are one and done anyways. The mess, in college basketball, man, when you get the opportunity to go in the NBA draft, you out of there. You know what I mean?
Not only that, his players let down the Chicago man at that. Like, man, how can you let somebody from Chicago down for real? Mm-hmm. You know, jeez. Hey, is it too early? You know how I was saying to you guys on Saturday when we were hanging out that I would put $40 on Duke to win the national title. Well, I kind of did that. And if Duke does win, those $40 come out to be $520 in my pocket if Duke does win the NBA.
I'm throwing $100 on it right now.
On the NCAA tournament, I just feel like you're right. Like the only way Duke or at least these players can avenge Coach K.
They better suit up.
They better come in, game in and game out at that tournament. All they got to do is just win 6 games. Yeah, right. 5, 6 games. That's all they had to do. They won close to 20 games. I forgot. They shown their record and I forgot. But I know they won more than 6 games this season. I think they could actually do it on straight. So
I mean, yeah.
Lord,
I believe it.
With me $1,300 for Duke.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? Hold on. I think we're on something here, boys. I think we're on something here.
Hey, no. I think we're speaking it too much. I think we do all bet this at the same time.
Look,
I don't think it's gonna happen.
None of us play for the NFL or none of us play for college basketball, so it's legal for us. It's okay for us to get on here and start betting.
$1,400. Damn, that's not bad.
Nah, hey man, don't talk about Purdue because my brother's gonna jump on here and he's gonna talk about Purdue Boilermakers, man. So
man, ain't no one care about Purdue, bro.
Boilermakers, jump on, Mr. Saul. We'll talk Boilermakers, man.
I don't know, man. You're gonna get it from my brother. I can tell you that much.
That's fine.
Isn't Illini? Didn't Illini win the Big Ten championship, or did that happen yet?
I think so. I think they shared it. I think they shared the Big Ten title. Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, man, but I put 100 on Duke. I put 100 on Duke. March Madness starts next week. Let's get it.
Todavía no me llegan mis income taxes, so I can't do that yet. I ain't balling yet, bro. So I gotta wait on the income taxes for me to do that.
March Madness hasn't started yet, guys. But really quickly, we're talking about disappointment, right? And we're talking about Coach K being disappointed. The one game I'm pretty sure he wanted didn't happen.
They had one job.
Right. He's still in it right now. So I want to ask you guys, I want to ask the viewers at home, was there one game that you guys really, really wanted that didn't happen and left you disappointed, even now? Let's start with you, John.
That I wanted, professionally? You're talking about me?
Yes. Well, I guess, you know what? It could be any. That's a good point. It could be anything professionally, or it could be one of your games that you played at any time in your life. And for those, real quickly, for those watching, if you guys have one of those moments, whether professionally or one or your own, please put it in the comments. Eric will type the question out for you. We'll put it on the screen. But yeah, put it in the comments. Go ahead, John.
Doing that right now.
that's easy for me. It's gonna be junior year. I was playing high school ball. I was pitching. I was on the bump, and I had 5 no-hit innings. I remember we were dogging the team. It was like 8-0. We needed 2 more runs. Get to the 6th inning. It was a slaughter roll, no hitter. Like everybody knew what was going on, but we kept like just talking normal. No jinx in it. And then
Right.
it was 2 outs. I got the guy on two strikes, and I remember clear as day. Like my catcher called for a fastball. I got too confident. I shook him off. I said no. So I tried to throw him the deuce, and literally, man, he fouled it off like just barely. So I said, "Ooh," I said, I want this one. I want this one." Again, my catcher called the fastball. I said, "No, I'm striking this dude out with the curve," because I had 14 Ks already. I was dealing, like no bullshit. Like I still have the newspaper game ball. I was dealing, and I got too confident. I threw him the curveball again. Next, it was literally like a fucking movie, man. Just like slow motion. The ball gets hit. I see it just going past me, going towards shortstop. My shortstop, my shortstop was like 6 feet. He had hops. He jumped and literally just tipped the top of his glove, went right into the outfield for the first hit of the game, and that was the only hit of the game. Because we sure enough that inning, well, the very next guy I struck out because I was pissed off. Then we came to bat. We scored the 2 runs. Next inning, we won. 10-zip. Game was over. They called it early. It was a slaughter. Only got that 1 hit for being fucking cocky as hell, trying to strike him out on the curve. I take that back any day. I still got nightmares about it. I see it clear as day. Literally, like from the moment I threw the pitch, it was like my life was slow motion, just watching it. And I was like, just literally by like 2 centimeters, probably just right off the top of the glove.
That's tough. That's a tough break, man. That's a tough break. Now, had you had that no hitter, what would it do for you in life today, John?
At least it would allow me to say I've thrown 2 no hitters in my whole life. So
there you go. At least you have one. You have more no hitters than I do, and Eric combined. How about that? That's a win.
True.
That's a win.
Hey, I'll put it like this. I played in 2 baseball games, right? And I am 0 for 0 with 4 walks, bro. So I'm proud of that.
Damn, 4
like
walks.
My boy Naeem, bro. He always got walked. Always. Like our coach would call him the pinch hit, and my boy get a walk. And then he only played like 1 full season in high school. Always get walked, bro. Always.
Hey, the closest that I got to hit the ball was a foul ball off my foot, and I had soccer cleats at that time too. So that hurt. I ain't gonna lie.
You know what? One time I had a player pool, and I left my cleats in my mom's bag, and she was all the way downtown. So I called up my boy who lived like a block down in Senior Field. Those that don't know, it's in the east side. So I had to play in soccer cleats. Bro, I never got so many blisters on my ankles. That shit hurt for like damn near a month because it kept just recutting my blisters on my ankles every time I would play. It's terrible.
Wait, they hurt when you have them on your heel, bro. That's pain. That's pain.
Damn.
Yikes. Eric, what's yours?
Okay.
What's mine? My biggest disappointment is meeting both of you guys. That's my biggest disappointment.
I thought he was going to say being an Atlas fan.
In life, and meeting you guys. No. But in all honesty,
my bad. Respectfully.
Yeah, whatever. In all honesty, I think it was. It's easy. I could literally replay this back in my head, and it just sucks, right? So you guys know me, right? I'm a goalie. I play goalie literally my whole life since I was 5. Yeah.
Yes.
You're flexible.
So it was my first year at South Suburban College. Shout out Bulldogs, woo woo, Coach Tony,
woo-woo.
Everybody else. Shout out to South Sub. And we played the championship game to make it to nationals. We played against Oakton College. We had a tough year. The season was just up and down, ebb and flows of a soccer team. I guess everybody just being together. But for some odd particular reason, It just all clicked when we were making the run to playoffs for to go to nationals, right? I remember the one team we play against, Morton. We beat them in overtime. We beat DuPage County in overtime. Exciting game. So I remember for the DuPage one, it was cold, windy, cold, blustery. I think it was raining on top of that. And I don't know. I predicted the goal that we scored that I got. I was the first one off the bench and ran to my boy to score that goal. That one was crazy. I don't remember who we played the semifinal game against, but that's the one game that we didn't go to overtime. And the final against Oakton College was at Oakton. Now that's a 2.5 hour trip from here. Anywho, the one thing that I was really good at was reading the players in PKs. In practice, I guessed all the spots wrong for probably 90 something, 80, like high 80s, low 90% of the time. Whether I blocked them or they scored on me, but at least every single time, I would guess it right. So I remember coach called me to warm up, at least to be in the last 20 seconds of the game, right? We were short one man because we got a red card. I want to say either the beginning of the second half or the late first half, but we got a red card. But coach told me to warm up, and I was warming up, and intensively too, because I felt it was one of those feelings like you're gonna go right in after this next play. Well, that never happened, right? So we couldn't make the sub anymore. So I was just right there at the bench. And I remember I was in between my boy Kukui and my boy Rene. Free shout out. And you could tell them that I guessed every single one of the PK kicks that the other team shot. And we ended up losing in PKs. And I think that was one of the biggest disappointments I think I've ever been part of. All the championships games that I had as I was a kid, everything. I don't think that felt. I think that one hurt the most. All of us, we all cried. We all cried, man. That was it, because South Suburban has only been to nationals, I want to say twice before that. One stung a little bit. And to this day, I still remember it like if it was just yesterday. I still got the picture somewhere in my phone of us. You can see us all looking pissed and we were all crying with that. So yeah, that's the one that hurts the most.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Both of you guys have tough ones. I'm gonna make mine short and sweet. I played football 1 year, freshman year of high school. That was it. I wasn't in high school long enough to play any more sports. But my freshman year, the biggest disappointment was my last game ever. And that was against Munster High School. Yeah, no, it was actually no. It was I played the entire season. That was the second to last game. It was against Munster High School at Munster. I always played defense. I was always a linebacker, played defense. I played defensive a couple times. But literally the first play of the game, they wanted me at special teams because we had a couple guys out. All right, I'll play special teams, right? Cool. Kickoff coming to us. I'm trying to block the guy behind me who has the ball. And I get run over. First play of the game, I get run over by this.
Oh, ran over.
Mm-hmm. Ran over, whatever you want to say. I'm going to make up run over because when I'm telling you guys, I got smacked so hard that it took me not only out the game for the rest of the game, but I couldn't even play the last game of the season, which was the week after. That literally ended my entire
pancake, boy.
Bro. So in Munster, right, they don't have a freshman team. We were a freshman team. They have nothing but varsity and junior varsity. But the junior varsity ranged from freshmen to sometimes juniors. And this dude was a big dude. He was a big dude. And he ran me over like if I was just a little kid, bro. And honestly, that was it. That was the first play of the game. I'm telling you, first kickoff. That was it. That was the last of my illustrious high school football career. And whenever I think back to my last football game, that was it. So that's such a disappointment. But you know what? It is what it is, man.
I'm surprised you didn't play nose tech with that big ass nose of yours.
Oh my god! You know what? For real, I should have, bro. Honestly,
I wasn't
that big though. In high school, I wasn't as big as I was now in high school. I was a lot more in shape. So yeah,
because you're Tony Toxico.
Yeah, I was Tony Toxico.
Tony Vibrate.
Right, Tony Vibrate. Anyways, so moving on, right? So yeah, guys, put into the comments make sure to follow us not only on Facebook Live, but on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter. This will be on Spotify and on Anchor. This is going to be on YouTube throughout the entire week. It's going to be on Anchor for all time. Facebook Live, you already know it's always going to be on Facebook. So you guys are able to comment and put whatever you want in the comments. What was your biggest sports disappointment? You can even tweet us at Twitter, Jca Sports. I'm sorry, at Sports JCA. Sports JCA. And again, we'll interact with you for sure. But moving on, guys, right before we end, we have breaking news today in the NFL world with Calvin Ridley being suspended minimum of 1 year for betting on games while he wasn't with the team. For those who don't know, Calvin Ridley left the team, I think, mid-season because of mental health issues.
Yeah, around Halloween.
Yeah, around Halloween. So this was like beginning of the season, maybe a little bit towards the middle. And since he was on a little hiatus from the team, he started to bet on games. He had not a 3-game parlay, but he had 3 separate parlays. I think it was an 8-team, a 5-team, and a 3-team. And one of those teams, one of those parlays was the team that he played for, which was the Atlanta Falcons. NFL caught whiff of that. And if you guys don't know how they caught whiff of that, it's because they have a partnership with the betting sites like FanDuel and DraftKings. And he got red flagged for using his information betting on DraftKings, or it was one of those 2 sites, but he got red flagged, which prompted the NFL to do an investigation and found him guilty of betting on a game. He was very upfront about it. They had a hearing. He got on there. He admitted to it. He said he only betted a total of $1,500, but that was enough to cost him $11 million all of next year. I want to get you guys' initial reaction. Everybody at home, always comment on our Facebook Live posts or on YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're watching that. I want to get your guys' reaction. Hey, is that too harsh of a punishment? 1 full year, him losing all that money? What do you guys think is just right? Being an athlete, professional athlete, bet on a sport, and bet on your team to win. What do you guys think? Let's start with you, Eric.
Honestly, I feel like in the NFL, you could get a lot more. You could get suspended on gambling when you're not playing with the team than you can on being up on your wife. You get suspended more for gambling when you're not on your team than taking steroids or performing enhancement drugs instead of gambling when you're not on your team, right? You get suspended more, or you get suspended around the same amount smoking weed and gambling on sports. Guys, I think the NFL wants to talk about integrity. They have none. They have no integrity whatsoever. Like I just said, you get suspended for gambling when you're not playing. Even like I would understand this conversation if he would have bet it against the Atlanta Falcons, but he put the Atlanta Falcons to win. I get it that you can't gamble while you're playing. I understand that, or whatever the rules may be in any of the sports and all the 4, 5, 6 sports that have allowed gambling in. But gambling is now legal, and I figured like this would have been an issue once they legalized gambling throughout the United States, or at least the majority of the United States. This would have been an issue somewhere down the road. Well, the issue is now here, and the NFL suspended one player for a whole entire year for betting for his team that he wasn't part of anymore, that he left, that the Falcons allowed him to leave. But again, you get suspended more for betting for your team than beating up your wife. You get suspended more for gambling than showing off some guns in front of people. Like, you want to talk about integrity? The NFL has no integrity whatsoever. The NFL will be like, oh, okay, slapping the wrist for everything else. That's considered worse than gambling. But apparently, if you gamble on your team, you get suspended for the whole entire year. It's a bunch of bull snot, man.
And you know what?
It really is. NFL has no integrity whatsoever.
They did it so quickly. And they did it so quickly.
Exactly.
Which is crazy.
And you said that they had partnerships and they knew about this, and yet we're just barely finding this out now. Like that's just blasphemy. It's just one of those reasons that, you know, the NFL will find the littlest things to suspend you on something so inconvenient that is now legal in majority of the United States. But something as harsh as domestic violence, something as harsh as performing enhancing, and and I guess even smoking weed that is now legal in majority of the United States will get you suspended more than doing everything else. Nah, man, don't talk about integrity if you have none. Don't talk about me about that, man. The NFL is just dumb, stupid, and all of that, and yet no.
So the main reason why they want to jump on this, and the main reason why they're trying to protect the integrity of the game, right, is because they're trying they're trying to fight this stigma that the NFL is rigged or the games are rigged, and people and like players or coaches or anybody in the NFL who bets on games like that, you know, it only helps that, I guess, that argument that it is rigged. A lot of times players or coaches or referees or whatever have their own self-interest in wanting to make money on the side, on the down low, and so they'll try to rig games or they'll try to rig performances, and that's what the NFL, that's the stigma the NFL is trying to fight. Now, I do agree with you, Eric, on what you said, that hey, look, like you can't sit here and be so quick about this and give out such a bad punishment when you have instances that happen on the cross. The NFL, like, look at Deshaun Watson and all the allegations that he has. Yes, he has their allegations, but like, come on, like 27 girls, like, come on, you there has to be something there, and he still has yet to get punished for it. You have multiple domestic abuse cases, you have multiple DUIs and stuff like that, and yet you don't see punishment as hard as you've seen today with Calvin Ridley. So I do give you your credit there, because you're absolutely right. But John,
even Henry Ruggs last year played a game or two after he killed somebody in Vegas. Like, you want to talk about integrity? Like, isn't that something like you should get on right away? Like, he legit killed somebody and still ended up playing 1 or 2 games in the NFL. Yet they didn't jump quick on that. But they jumped. I mean, obviously, it's been out since October or November when he put this gambling. I think they jumped on it right away, but they did suspend him quickly after this news broke out. So, man, the NFL is just stupid. It's just plain stupid.
John, I want to get your reaction as well. Do you think this punishment was I guess overly harsh and NFL standards? And is it, as a professional player, you played sports before, not a professional level, but you have played sports. Is it that wrong to bet on, I guess, parlays, even, let's say, with whether it's your team and whether it's not your team? Like, is there like a gray area there where it's like it is acceptable or not acceptable?
I think, well, for one, I think the NFL is right for suspending him, but I think they just acted too fast. They suspended him too long, I feel like, but I feel like they're trying to make an example out of him. That's the way I take it. Yeah. Like, you could have suspended him like 4 games or even like dock his pay, but suspend him the whole year is pretty wild. I definitely, like I said, I do agree with the NFL punishing him, because I feel like, bro, you're a professional athlete. You make all this money. You shouldn't be gambling on your own team. If you're gonna do it through your family, do it through your friends. Like, literally, for these, websites that you gamble on, you literally have to put your own social security number. Why would you risk it? You're a professional athlete. You can literally do it other ways, and I'm sure other athletes do it other ways.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, bro, that's why I'm like, bro, I don't feel sorry for you, because like you already make millions, and now you're just. I get it, it's your team and you weren't playing, but it's like, still, bro, like you have one job. Don't gamble on your own team. When you leave the team, go ahead. And it's like I said, there's other ways he could have done it if he really wanted to. It really felt like he needed to gamble while he wasn't playing. Like, bro, you took a leave of absence for mental health, which I support. Then, so do it. Focus on that. Clearly, you went to go gamble, on your team, when it's like that's literally in your contracts that you can't do as a professional athlete. Like, it makes no sense. Like, it's not worth the risk. That's why I don't feel sorry. I do think the NFL is a little harsh, but I mean, when you're an athlete, it's like it's a contract to your team you make, regardless of what it is, professionally, whatever. When you're on a team, it's a family. You have rules. You gotta buy it. You can't betray the team. You can't quit on the team. And I mean, yes, nothing happened as far as like bad chemistry with the team that we know of, but like once you start like putting myself in that position, if I start to gamble and like, oh, I'm starting to lose money because my team's starting to suck, like eventually something's gonna happen. I'm gonna go off on somebody, someone's gonna go off on me, and it's not good. Like there's reasons that you, as a professional athlete, you can't gamble on yourself or your team.
Well, yeah, you have inside traits. Even if you're not playing, but you're betting on your team to win, you have the inside scoop. You know what plays they're going to run. You may know what the defense on the other opposing team is weak to, and that's the strong suit of let's say your offense or your defense. So you're like, you know what? Let me bet on the over or the under, or this guy getting this amount of points. They can't cover him. Like I know he can do. I know the plays they're going to run and this and that. So yeah, he has a competitive advantage over other people. So I do get why.
Exactly, because you, like you said, or even if he wasn't there with the team, because he was on his absence, he could still call the guys like, hey man, what's going on? What you guys been talking about this week? What's the game plan looking like?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, I do want to ask you guys. Right?
I don't feel bad.
I agree with you. I don't feel bad either. I do think it's overly harsh, right? Because you've seen other sports like in baseball, you have the Houston Astros who admittedly cheated, who were upfront about it, and yet they still have yet to get any type of repercussion.
Any type of punishment. They still got the World Series title, no ban. Just the coaches got banned. Well, the coaches were forced to step down and then banned for a year, but that's it. Right. They all made it to their part. An example out of him.
Exactly, but nothing. And you see the NFL. How many games did Tom Brady get suspended for Deflategate?
4.
And that's cheating. You know what I mean?
We're talking about integrity, though, right?
That's right. We're talking about integrity. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's like the NFL's backwards, man. It's ass backwards, and I don't know. It's just tough.
I'll one up you on the baseball one, right? Baseball's hit king is not even in the Hall of Fame for betting. So, so it's just like, and he betted on everybody else. And that's the one thing. See, the one thing I give Calvin really a little just one thing that I have against him, that knock against him, is the fact that he bet for his team. Pete Rose betted against everybody else except for his team.
Right.
So like, if there's a knock in Calvin Ridley, it's that one. It's that he betted for his team. If it was somebody else, everybody else outside of that, cool. But that's the one thing. Suspension was too harsh. I do feel bad for him because he doesn't deserve the suspension. The NFL is stupid. They have no integrity, claiming they want to protect the shield, have integrity for the game, and at the end of the day, they come up with this where people are doing a lot more worse things before to him. Ray Rice beat up his wife and only got 2 games. It's just you're right. Ass backwards, and NFL is just stupid.
They really are, and it's tough, right? And look, I do give Kyle really this, right? You're at home. There's not much to do. He's like one of us, you're on your couch. There's a lot of games going on. Let me sprinkle some money. Let me do some parlays. Why not, right? Like nowadays, betting is so easy. It's so easily accessible than it was back then in the Pete Rose days. How Pete Rose got caught, I have no idea. You had to literally write shit down. You know what I mean?
Had to snitch on them.
Right, or someone had to snitch on you for real. But nowadays it's so easy. But like it's so easy to bet. You can do it from the comfort of your home, on your couches, on your mobile devices. You go out and so many different platforms. But you're right, John. You guys are both right. You got to know better than that. You got to know better than that. Like, that's literally the one. Like that's like one of the biggest no-nos as a professional athlete. We know that we're not even professional athletes. Like, you don't bet. You don't bet on that. Like you create a burner account, have your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, but whatever, you know what I mean? Your kids, your brothers,
Jesus.
Like have them bet for you. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, I don't know if the NFL has a policy that not even your family members can do it. I don't know. It's tough. It sucks, guys. It sucks. It sucks because again, Eric's right. The NFL is just they're not getting any type of money out of betting or gambling, at least from the player's sake. And they're trying to not give off the stigma or prove that they're rigged. You know what I mean? I think because that just ruins the entire sport. So I do get where Roger Goodell and the NFL is coming from in that standpoint, but you got to be better than that. If you're going to be like that with betting, you got to be like that all across the board with everything going on in your league. You still have Deshaun Watson who can get traded next week or whenever the year starts, and he can start for any team next season. You know what I mean? It's like And he has all those allegations with women and masseuses and all this. It's tough. But you're listening to the JCA Sports Podcast, brought to you by Anchor. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. Guys, make sure to follow us on every single one of these platforms. We're definitely going to come out with new content twice a week. We're here on Mondays. We're here on Wednesdays. Tomorrow, my brother and I will be talking UFC. We'll be talking AEW, 2 big pay-per-views in this past weekend. Eric has a lot to talk about in the soccer world, the EAFP podcast on Wednesdays, and the 3 of us will be back on Wednesdays as well to talk more sports. Before we go, guys, I want to ask you one more question, and that is, what is your favorite Tony Toxico moment?
No one got to answer that, man. No one, please. We'll edit that out. We apologize.
No, it was worth the shot, guys. But then time's up. Time's up. As for Eric, as for John, you guys have anything to say to the folks at home? Anything?
Oh yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll be back on Wednesday, bigger, better than ever. Stay tuned for what we got coming up in future shows. And Nike got AFC Richmond, bro. Woo! I'm excited for that. I'm pre-ordering everything that they're gonna come out with, from the jackets to the jersey. I'm finally getting my Roy Kent jersey on. Man, I'm excited for that. That was the best news I received all day today.
What happened now?
You gotta watch Ted Lasso, bro.
Basically, the team from the Ted Lasso show, they're getting their own uniforms by Nike, like actually to sell.
Oh, really? That's dope.
That's pretty dope.
It's pretty dope. Season 3.
I don't like the colors, but it's dope.
For season 3, they got all the Premier Leagues. They got the okay from all the Premier League teams. They got the sponsorship from Nike. So that show is gonna probably have like 2 more seasons, then it's gonna be done, because I really don't think they have any more creative ideas to go on for that show. But at least they could go out with a bang for 2 more seasons. And it'll be great. If you guys don't watch it, it's on Apple TV. Season 3 might be coming soon. I know they're filming it, and I'm excited, bro. I'm getting myself a jacket.
I gotta get into it.
If you guys don't watch it, it is a good show. Eric overhyped it, but I am excited for Nike to be selling. You guys know I'm a Nike brand whore myself, so
man,
I'll cop a jacket.
Eric overhyped it like we hyped the Bulls, man. Like we overhyped the Bulls. You know what? I'll tell you what. If you're gonna be plugging shows, I'm watching the last season of All American right now. I'm caught up to date. It's a pretty good show. You guys want to watch? They just came out with the spinoff, which I'm going to start watching as well. Good show, John. Do you have any shows for the folks at home that you want to plug in there?
Yeah, you guys should watch Demon Slayer if you haven't watched. If you haven't watched the newest season that just ended a couple weeks ago, it was raw as fuck.
It's anime.
Of course, it's anime, so arrogant about that life, but and also go see Batman. I haven't seen it yet. I'll go see it tomorrow.
I seen it. Really good.
It's great. I'm ready. I'm excited. Almost blew you guys out tonight to go see it, but I didn't because I love you guys. So I'll be there tomorrow night. I
might dabble on it this weekend or on Friday
Eric,
to watch
we don't need your negativity, bro. We don't need negativity about Batman. We just want to enjoy our superhero movie.
I'm not. I'm literally telling you guys that
there's no negative about it, though. It's really good. It's really good.
No, I'm talking about Eric.
No, I'm literally saying I might dabble on it. I'm going with it with open mind because there's a lot of people that are saying it's a real good movie. And I mean, I've gotten my few that say it wasn't really that good. So since I have that mixed reaction, I might go and pay for it and watch it myself instead of wait for it to come out on HBO Max.
There you go.
Well, it's coming out next month already. So
there you go, guys. All the recommendations for you guys. We also we have our show. So follow us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook Live, Anchor, Spotify.
Roy K.
And be here, join me and my brother tomorrow. We're talking UFC 272. We're talking AEW Revolution. Everything in the world of wrestling and MMA will be here. Eric on Wednesday, JCA Sports on Wednesday. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you guys in 2 days.